Mega Moms, Jessica Hensley here with Real Estate Mega Moms, where we help moms create a life and a business that they love. And today I am interviewing Marquita Foxworth, and I'm so excited to introduce you to her. She is one of our micro team students, and she is a rock star in the DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth area. And so you're going to love hearing her story. So we're going to dive right in. Welcome to the podcast, Marquita. Glad to have you here.
Nice to be here.
So why don't we just kind of start at the beginning? I love for people to get to know you, who you are, why you got into real estate. So just tell us like the beginning parts of that. How long have you been licensed and what made you decide to get your real estate license?
So I've been licensed 7 years. What made me decide finally was I was in the Army. I'm Army retired. But my supervisor was like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I was like, oh, I want to be a broker. Just randomly, he was like, well, so what are you doing today to get you there in 5 years? And I was like, I'm taking this bachelor's course and I'm about to finish that, right? And he was like, no, that doesn't sound like broker to me. So you may want to go to the Ed Center. So Ed Center said, hey, we have classes starting Monday. And in 6 weeks, you'll graduate. And it was like 6 courses. Now, mind you, I was already in 4 courses to finish my bachelor's. So I ended up taking that whole course load. And I was physically in class. Good thing my husband was deployed. And my kids' childcare providers said it was good to go. We can take a couple of extra hours for you to go and pursue that. And so 6 weeks later, I got my license. And I've been in love with real estate ever since. So,
oh my gosh, that's so cool. I didn't know that story. And so you got your license while your husband was deployed. Wow. So when you said off the top of your head, I want to be a broker, what inspired that? What did you think your life would look like?
I just love real estate. The thing that I love the most, I was 18, 19, buying a house. And I was like, I want to help more people that are veterans like me. So that was in my head, implanted from the time that I started.
Yeah. So you had a good experience and then you're like, I want to pay that forward. I love that. Definitely. And I love that niche too. And so do you primarily work with veterans today?
Yes, 99% of my clients are veterans.
Wow, that's awesome. So I guess let's fast forward today. What does your business look like? What is your average transactions? And you can talk volume or numbers as well. And if you want to talk about, how it's progressed, I think that might be helpful. Maybe your first year, like what were you selling and then how did it grow?
So first year, it was trickle, I think I did 5 deals my first year and then maybe 7 the next year because, being a military wife and I was Army myself the first year, I couldn't really spread myself so thin. Right. So in the last 2 years, I've increased 25 plus deals. I know that that may be small, but I think for me, I want to help people and the people that's around me. And I just went that route and wanted to be a team and people to help me. So, yeah.
Yeah. I remember, so it took me a long time to get to have success is probably the best way to word that. And I was licensed for about 11 years before I really got the hang of things, before things really started falling into place for me. And I remember just dreaming about being able to do 2 transactions a month. I was just like, if I could just do 2 a month, that would make, I would be making more than I could at any other job. So I love that you're there. And also your price point's quite a bit higher than mine too. So that's wonderful. And we tell people, Marquita's in the micro team program, which is how to build a team. So starting to think about help at that point is appropriate between the 2 and 3 transactions a month, especially depending on your price point. That's definitely the time that people start feeling burned out. So let's talk about that.
Yes.
Made you decide, all right, my business is steady enough and I can't do this all on my own. I need some help. What happened?
So, in the military, they teach you to work your business around your family. I wanted to work my family around my business. And so instead of having that instant reaction, I wanted to alleviate myself of that. And so what ended up happening is I had one guy one day, he wanted to see 5 houses, and then the next it just became every day it was extreme, and there was no way for me to be at 3 places at one time. And so, some brokerages don't allow you to get on like Show On Me and say, hey, let me hire somebody to help me. And so once they put those measures in place, I was like, well, I need somebody that I can trust and that'll be on my team to help me close these deals. So I'll get them started, and then you take it to the whole, basically. So that's how that started.
Yeah, so you just wanted more time freedom, and I think that's how a lot of moms are that start the micro team program. Like you said, you're there. You're the only one that can show whenever you don't have something else set up, and you feel like it's all on your shoulders. So let's talk about the micro team program. So what have you learned that has been most impactful in your business?
I would say I had an aha moment when I seen the SOP. And I was like, I'm going to build this out to the max. I want to recreate me into a VA. So I did videos, I did step by step. So basically any VA can pick up my SOP and just go. And so that's what I love. And that was the most impactful for me.
I love that because it's something that's so simple that agents kind of overlook. I think that part of it is when you're successful in real estate, there's a lot of things that just come to you naturally, because there's a little bit of like natural talent, natural intuition about certain things. And so we just kind of get in our groove and we just do the thing, right? And then we hire somebody and it's like, oh, they're not doing it the way I want them to do it. And we get mad at them or frustrated with them and disappointed. And, we're telling them, hey, that you didn't do this. And it's like, well, did I really take the time to map this out to make it really truly dummy proof, right? Where anybody can step into that position. And that's the whole point of the SOP. We have a playbook. And that's what she's referring to. We have a playbook for every position on our team, and we map out their primary job duties and we break it down into step-by-step guide. And it could be just a word, like we're actually typing out their directions, and it could also be a video. And I tend to do the video because, hey, I'm going to be doing that listing agreement anyway, or hey, I'm going to be booking those showings anyway, so I might as well just record my screen, talk through it, and then the person that I have to take over that position or that task, they have a blueprint to do that. So which tasks did you map out? What did you do for your SOPs?
So, okay, without telling too much. So I'm in the Revenos program in EXP, right? So if you know about working with institutional investors, there's a lot of mundane things that will have you glued to your computer all day. And if you do that, you won't be able to go out and get more business, right? So I seen it on the horizon and I was like, okay, I need to fix my standard operation procedure based on your blueprint, right? And so that's basically what I did, and it's made life so much better. Even my TC's life is better.
Good. I love that. Yeah. Did we meet on, I did a webinar or a presentation for that group. That's how we met. Okay.
Yes.
Remember how we got connected. That's awesome. Yeah. We love the military. My husband hasn't served. I haven't served, but I have got to work with a lot of agents who have, and it's such a special group. I really enjoyed working with you guys. So, Marquita, so let's talk about what you think is going to happen in the future of your business. What are you looking forward to now that you have the micro team kind of in place? I know you haven't made all of your hires, so we should also talk about that. What does it look like? What positions do you have currently on your team?
So I have VAs, and they do a lot. They do my marketing. They do everything for that institutional investor that they can as VAs. I have a transaction coordinator for that side, and I have a transaction coordinator for regular deals. But that's, an agent that wanted to substitute income. So I just let her fill that role. And then I have 2 showing agents. So.
Wow, that's awesome. And are they like in your downline at EXP or just people that you've connected with?
They are not in my downline. So one of the things that I was running into, I love mentoring. And so what I found myself doing was mentoring more than business. And I had to take a step back and say, hey, if you're not in my downline or on my team, I can't bring you along on the ride. And unfortunately, it's hard. It broke my heart. But I had to do that. I really had to do it.
Yeah. So the showing agent is a position. It doesn't mean that you have to mentor them. And so that makes sense for you. And they're not, so the way you're doing it sounds like it's almost more like a service, probably by the transaction for the showing. Is that right?
So, they basically, my role is I do the consultation. I tell them all the hard things. And I negotiate. They show the houses and they talk to the clients, when it's something simple, but if it's really hard, I jump in there and I have to have those hard conversations because, it's just the way that I do it. I don't know why, it just works.
Well, that's how we have it set up, really. Yeah. So I love that. So it actually does sound like they're a proper showing agent. And so the way, so those that are listening, the way we have it mapped out in the micro team program is we have a position called showing agent. And what Marquita is describing here, and it sounds like you have it set up that way, the showing agent kind of is that point of contact while the showings are happening. So they're scheduling the showings. My showing agent, she'll come back to our group message and she'll say, hey, Jessica, so she's informing me of what's gone on. Hey, Jessica, we looked at these 3 houses and they would rate them a 5, a 4, and a 7. And the one they rated a 7, they're interested in getting comps on and possibly making an offer. Here's what would make it a 10. So she kind of knows how to have those conversations with the client, but she's not necessarily answering the negotiating part of it. She's just gathering information, and it's just so helpful. So it sounds like your showing agent's similar. Okay.
Yes, as well as my listing coordinator. So my TC doubles as my listing coordinator, which works, and she has been rocking and rolling. I'm so proud of her. You can tell the difference between motivated people and who have a vested interest in increasing your business than those that don't. And one of the things that I'm learning is who I am and how to align with those types of people to help more people that I help. So if somebody doesn't align with me and my business, that's okay. I don't need to recruit them. They don't need to be on my team. So I have a mission and a purpose to help veterans. And if that's not, your end state or goal, then we may not align.
Yeah, that's something else we go through in the course too, isn't it? In the very beginning, we talk about your mission, vision, and your core values. And oh my gosh, you're speaking my language. I love this. I love that. I love to see, so Marquita, if you want to share, it was a hard year this year for you.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you had some of these things in place before that happened, but I know having help really makes a difference when you're going through a tough time.
So while I was in your training, in your course, my daughter passed away, unfortunately. And I was on the brink of doing everything, like creating everything. The only thing that I did not pull the trigger on is the VA. And then when that happened, I just was like, hey, VA, here's all of my SOP. I need your help with this.
Right.
And they helped me. And the crazy part is what people don't think about is my aunt is my TC.
So she was also impacted here. Yeah.
So that was hard. That was really hard. And the one thing that I want to talk about is the numbers. I remember us sitting down and you were like, oh, you want to go over your numbers? I'm like, no, I'm good. Because I really thought that I was good. But let me tell you, did you know that if the cause of death is unknown, your insurance won't pay out? Did you know that?
No.
So we had to pay cash for her services.
And are they going to review that? Like, is there ongoing? So it's still possible to get your pay, the insurance. Oh my gosh.
So wow. They have to confirm her records because she did have epilepsy. And so I kind of knew that that's what happened.
And by the way, your daughter was 20, is that correct?
She was 20, but she had autism and epilepsy, and I was her day in and day out.
Yeah.
Every day, so.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's tragic. And I bring it up, and Marquita has actually shared this publicly, and I knew she was, comfortable talking about it. And it's a tragedy, but I think sometimes we don't talk about real life. You know what I mean? On these podcasts, these real estate podcasts, it's like everything isn't always perfect, and it's life. We all have ups and downs and sorrow and joy, and it's okay to talk about that. So I think it's inspiring to other people that might be going through a hard time. We've, nothing compared to that, but there's been some changes in my life this year, and having a team set up, having systems set up allows your business to continue when you don't think you can move forward. And I'm sure there were days that, the real estate was the last thing on your mind. Absolutely. And I hope that you had things set up and will in the future where your clients don't necessarily have to feel that disruption, because that's not their fault, that something happened. So I don't know if you want to elaborate on any of that. But
I didn't. They really didn't notice the disruption.
Yeah.
They did not. Everything was moving like clockwork. But you get the onesies and twosies that notice that you're not being as attentive. Mm-hmm. And the way I feel about that is I'm going through something very tragic right now. And if you can't understand that, then maybe we may have to part ways, and I have a team that's helping, but sometimes people like that attention from the team lead. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
But I think in those circumstances, I can't imagine very many human beings that would not be understanding. And if you're right, it's like, okay, show me who you are, so thanks for letting me see that so I can adjust accordingly, man.
I had a person that was a liar, and it showed because they lied and said that they didn't like the way I handled things while I was on vacation. That was not a vacation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, and everybody in my circle knew, that wasn't the truth, but it's okay. And I wish that person nothing but the best, but I'm not the agent for you. If you don't understand that people are going through things and people are human, and I had to bury a child.
Yeah, it's unimaginable. Definitely a worst nightmare. But you're continuing on, and you're so strong, Marquita. And I want to commend you for that. You have another child. Do you have any other children besides the one?
I have a son. He's 17. He's about to graduate.
Yes. And so you're strong for him.
Spending a lot of time together. A lot. I'm getting to know him way better.
Mm-hmm. On a different level. Yeah. Well, so let's, the numbers, I know is very helpful. Part of the program we go through, we help you comb through your finances, and it's a painful part of the program. It's something that a lot of people either procrastinate on or put off, or they feel like, oh, why do I have to do this? But everybody that does it tells me, I'm so glad. It was like so eye-opening. And I think that was your case too.
I should have done it. I did not do it. And I did it. And I want to kick myself in the behind because I didn't. But I should have. That moment when we were together, I should have did it, but hindsight.
Yeah. Well, it's not too late. That's the nice thing. So, if somebody is thinking about taking that next step, so they're in that position that you're at, or we're at, where you're closing, a couple a month, your business is pretty steady, you feel comfortable, but you're too busy, and you're ready to take that next step, what would you say about this model as opposed to building the traditional, the normal team where you're hiring agents?
I really prefer this method. I've heard a lot of horror stories about people going bankrupt, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to learn from someone else's mistakes on the back end. I want to learn from all of your mistakes on the front end,
Yeah, I am an open book when it comes to the mistakes. Yeah. I tell, and that's the nice thing about our coaching calls. It's group calls, and you kind of get to see everyone either making mistakes in real time and me like, okay, here's how you fix it, or man, girl, don't do this because I've gone down that road and it didn't work out. But yeah, that's the power in the program. So, Marquita, thank you so much for being with us today. If they want to send you a referral, how would they reach you?
They can reach me on Facebook, or they can reach me on just email marquita.foxworth@exprealty.com.
Love it. Awesome. All right, everyone. Well, don't forget to create a life and a business that you love. Bye.
Bye.